The first son of a deceased man takes all and may share amongst his brothers, not his sisters. Accused to her. Widows do not have any right of inheritance. They are rather typically regarded as properties themselves, properties of the deceased man, which can also be inherited by his relatives. So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. Dear women, comot your eye for where your husband property dey. Some of you are like, Neze, are you the one saying this thing? I say comot your eye for where your husband property dey. Triggering, provoking, stimulating. Oh yeah, calm down. Relax. No be me talk. That is me succinctly putting what the customary laws and traditions of many states in Nigeria represent when it comes to inheritance and succession. In our last video, we began discussing inheritance and distributing of a late person's estate. Who should get what? And who is entitled to what? I explained to us that one of the best and fastest ways to eradicate drama is by writing a will. How a will is supreme and how it mitigates catastrophe and cataclysms. I explained that in the absence of a will, the kind of marriage that man contracted during his lifetime will determine how his properties will be distributed. Remember that we pointed out that when there is a will, then the properties will be distributed how the person wants it. Where there is no will, but there is a statutory marriage, the properties will be distributed according to statutory law, which gives his widowed wife at least 1/3 of his properties and 2/3 going to his children, none to other relatives. No uncle, no father, no brother, no kinsman. If he wants to make provision for his mother or whoever, then he writes a will. But in the absence of a will and with a court wedding, it is his immediate family that inherits him. At least in the south, it's different in the north, but we'll get there. But in today's video, we will be addressing a rather popular position, a situation where a man dies without a will and only contracted a traditional marriage. How will his properties be distributed? You need to strap yourself. Do not miss a part of this video because a lot of us are under this group. And if you're new here, you're seeing me for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued because there is so much more coming your way. You can also join my masterclass, beautiful masterclass, where I took out time to design a 5-module course to teach you what I do and how I do it and how I manage to get all my results. It doesn't come by chance. It is a skill that can be learned and can be developed. So if you are interested in sharpening your oratory skills, holding people spellbound to your storytelling and profiting from it, do send me a mail to nezemasterclass@gmail.com. I'll see you in class. So what does the law say? The law says that when a man dies intestate, that is without a will, the distribution of his estate will be subject to customary succession, meaning the laws of his tradition, his custom, and his practices will be binding. Even if in reality it is clear that he would personally not have it that way, that he would personally not have rathered it that way, even if it is clear and glaring to everyone that such customary laws do not reflect the true feelings and position of that man, all of those will be immaterial in that case. His properties will be distributed according to customary law. So if, for example, he had this wife that they were so in love, you know that these couples that you see, that you just want to get married, very close, they love each other so much. Maybe he was ill in his later years. This woman cared for him, was by his sick bed, took care of him, changed his diapers, bathed him. If he dies without a will, having conducted only a customary law wedding, and if that customary law says that that woman does not get a biro out of what he left behind, so shall it be. And if he had a daughter, for example, that cared for him, was pampering him, took him abroad for vacation, was there for him, and he had a wayward son who never gave a care in the world or showed interest in his well-being, and a full son that was a thorn in his flesh during his lifetime. If the custom is that that first son will inherit everything he has and his daughter gets 0, so shall it be. His personal preferences shall not be taken into account. The distribution of his estates will be according to his tradition. The resultant effects of these state of facts is that members of your family who you left behind will be subjected to these traditions regardless of how repugnant, how demeaning, how repulsive, and how detestable they are. Those traditions will reign supreme. My dear men, my dear women, are you listening to me? Am I communicating? Get sense. Many of us are taking decisions purely out of ignorance. We do not know the consequences of these decisions, and I'm here giving you for free without charging you. These are very vital information that I spent years learning and practicing. So don't forget that you can support my channel and the growth of my channel by having recourse to the details in the description box. You can also subscribe to my super thanks and my super chats down below. If all of the above fails, hit the subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up. At least do that one. Let us proceed. So I'm sure the next question you would ask would be, Neze, okay, which tradition? Is there a uniform tradition? How do we know which applies to who? Well, the patterns of intestate inheritance under customary law in Nigeria has diverse variations. As there are various ethnic groups, so there are various laws on customary inheritance, so it varies broadly from place to place. The one that applies to the Ibera people, for example, might differ from the one that applies to the Ogoni people of River State, and might differ from the ones that the Ishekiris apply in Delta State. So just as customs differ, so also do these laws on inheritance differ from place to place. But please note, because some people might be under the wrong impression, these laws do not only concern properties located in rural areas, located in the village land. No, this customary law inheritance applies to the individual. So regardless of where his properties are located, the same law would govern its distribution. So if an Igbo man, for example, who resided in Abuja during his lifetime but has properties in Lagos and Ibadan, you might ask, is it the law of Lagos and Ibadan, the Yoruba culture? Is it the law of the North, Abuja, where he resided? Or is it the Eastern law where he came from, his own indigenous culture? Which of the laws would apply? Since the property is in the West, maybe the law of the Western culture would apply. No, it is his own indigenous cultural law that will apply. Except maybe during his lifetime, he denounced his indigenous custom and embraced the one of where he was living and say, okay, this is the law I believe in now, the Yoruba law. Then the customary law of his place of abode would then apply in the distribution of his properties. But as long as he remains that Igbo man and believed in his Igbo culture, regardless of where the properties are located, it is his own personal belief system, his own personal cultural law that will be used. So for the purpose of this video, we will analyze these inheritance cultures and traditions under the 3 major ethnic groups of Nigeria. And as I do, please do not hesitate to share in the comment section what the customary laws of inheritance is like in your own place. Let us proceed. First, the Yorubas. Where is my DJ? Can you give me some Wasiu, some Pasuma Wonder, some Fuji? Come on. My darling Yoruba brothers and sisters, I see you. How properties will be distributed under the customary laws of the Yoruba people will depend if it is family property or personal property. Family property devolves from one generation to the other. It is passed down, it is handed down, and it is used for the benefit and the enjoyment of the entire family. Upon the passing of the deceased person, the Dawodu, which is the eldest surviving son of that late man, succeeds as the head of that family. He would take control, holding that family property for the benefit and the interest of every member of that family. Each member of the family may be given an allotment if necessary, but it does not confer a right of ownership to that family member, meaning that they cannot dispose the property, they cannot sell it off. They may occupy it, they may lease it briefly, but they cannot transfer title by selling. Their interest is only limited to their lifetime, and when they pass, they hand it over to the next generation. A good example is most of these beaches in Lagos. Elegushi Beach, Ikate Beach, we have a lot of them. That Elegushi Beach is not an individual's property. That is a good example of a family property. It belongs to the Elegushi family. They are making money from it. They are renting the place for parties and all that, gate fee, entrance fee. The proceeds is distributed to every member of the family. So that is the family property. It belongs to the family. On the other hand, if it is a personal property, personally acquired by that late man, that deceased person, those properties, according to Yoruba native law and custom, will be distributed amongst his children. And there are two modes of this distribution: the Idigi system and the Ori Ojori system. The Idigi system of distribution of a man's personal property is also called distribution per stripes. It is mostly used in polygamous situations, and each wife represents one Igi, that's one branch. So the late man's property is divided equally amongst his wives. If he has 4 wives, it will be shared equally amongst 4 of them, regardless of the number of kids they have. So if the first wife has 2 kids and the third one has 5, the number of branches below them doesn't come in the Idigi system. It is shared amongst the wives equally. Then the wives will then be the one to sub-distribute amongst their children. I hope you're understanding. So that is the Idigi system. The Ori Ojori system is distribution per capita, and it is used mostly in monogamous situations. It is the sharing and the distribution of property equally amongst the children. This system of Ori Ojori is not preferred in polygamy because, for example, the first wife might have stayed with this man, built with this man, contributed to the wealth of the family, and maybe she had just 1 child or 2 children, and the man maybe wanted more children, marries a second wife during his older years, and this second wife gives him 5 children. So if you use the Ori Ojori system in this case and share amongst the children, the second wife would gain more because she has 5 while the first wife has 1, despite it was the first wife that suffered with the man. So in polygamous situations, the Idigi system is preferred, and it is usually the family head that will decide whether it's the Idigi system that would be employed or the Ori Ojori system. That is for the Yoruba culture. It is important to note, very important, that blood and not marriage is the benchmark for inheritance in the Yoruba culture. Hence, wives are disqualified from inheriting from their husbands. They can only do so through the children they bore, because she is not related to the man by blood. What their children give them from the inheritance becomes their own inheritance. A widow cannot inherit because she is not her husband's bloodline. So what this means is that children from flings, from affairs, from a way match, children born out of wedlock by a Yoruba man has more inheritance rights above his wife that has stuck with him through thick and thin for 40-something years. As long as he acknowledged the child during his lifetime, that child who is his bloodline has inheritance rights, and not you as a wife. That is the customary law of inheritance for the Yoruba people. Oh my God. Let's go to the Igbo people. Igbo kwenu, hey! Zwanu, hey! Rienu, hey! Kwezodu! No. This is my own tribe. It has to be special. Flavor na bania. Boromegu. Wakama boromegu. Asamwa. Iya, ije. Oh, Igbo Amaka. Have we finished dancing? You finished? It's alright. I go to your backyard. Tear 1 pieces. I use and wipe the dirty with your face. Shame. I say shame. The Igbo customary law and tradition on inheritance has shown to be the most cruel, the most unfair, the most demeaning, and the most inhumane when it comes to women. In the Yoruba customary law, wives are not allowed to inherit their husbands. Yes, it's bad enough. But at least daughters can inherit because daughters are seen as children too. But in the Igbo customary law, both wives and daughters and any female are not allowed to inherit. As long as the alphabet down there is V, not I. Madam, shift. Get out of here. Get out of here. I have never seen any culture that downgrades its women, especially when it comes to inheritance, as the traditions of the Igbo people. The Igbo law on succession and inheritance states that the first son of a deceased man takes all and may share amongst his brothers, not his sisters. So even if his brothers are billionaires and doing fine for themselves, and their sister is impoverished and struggling and has need for money, no inheritance, not a dime, accrues to her. Widows do not have any right of inheritance under the Igbo culture. They are rather typically regarded as properties themselves, properties of the deceased man, which can also be inherited by his relatives. And in the event that the deceased Igbo man bore no sons, these properties are bequeathed to his male next of kin, which in many cases are his brothers. Are you seeing where this thing stems from? I'm sure you all have seen the movies where a man passes and you see his brothers coming to send the widow out, throw her and her daughters away, and you'll be wondering what is going on. That is the culture. Even if he has a wife and 7 surviving daughters, none of them have graduated. They all need to be trained. As long as he has no sons, his properties go to his brothers. Now you can see why the Igbos from time immemorial are very crazy about male children. Many Igbo women do not even consider themselves as married yet. They do not even consider themselves as real wives yet until they bear a son. It is because of things like this. That is why they go to the ends of the earth. You will see an Igbo woman crying, praying. 4 girls, 5, 6, 7. She will keep going until she bears a son. You don't understand. And when she bears a son, you now hear some people saying, now your leg don't strong for inside your husband's house. Now you don't stand gidigba. This is the culture. So in the event that an Igbo man does not have a son, there has been a practice from time immemorial where he makes a female son. Yes, is that serious? The practice of a female son called Nrachi or Idegbe, where one of his daughters would sacrifice and stay back at her father's house and bear children for her father. Not that her father will be the one to sleep with her. No, please, I didn't say anything incestuous here. She would bear children for other men, but you know that legitimacy of children in Igbo land is when a man pays your bride price. If a man has not paid your bride price, that child is not his own. So since there is no bride price yet, this woman would take in, have the children in her father's house, have sons for her father. Those sons will adopt the father's surname, her surname, not the biological father's surname, because she's still in her father's house, right? Those sons will adopt the name of their grandfather, and that's where lineage will continue. The only way women typically inherit here is just by discretion. Some brothers may choose not to fight. They may just choose to leave everything, but it is risky. It is under the discretion of the brothers when there is no son. And even though several decided cases, for one, the recently decided case of Ukeje versus Ukeje in 2014, the Supreme Court categorically ruled that no female children should be disinherited just by reason of their gender, and that any law ousting these female children, any law prohibiting a wife or her daughter from inheriting is authorized, is null, is unconstitutional, is void. Tell that to the Umunnas. Umunna hamankewo unconstitutional. Do the red cap chiefs know the one that is void? So every day in the villages, every day in the suburbs, we still see this practice in full display, where widows are thrown out of their husbands' houses and his properties taken over by his brothers the second he takes his last breath. You might go to court, you might battle it. Have you seen a court case before in Nigeria? I was reading the recently decided case of Bianca and her husband's brothers. When Ojukwu died, the husband's brothers tried to take some of his properties, and of course, the wife of a warlord is also a warlord. She took them to court, and 10 years after that matter was instituted, she won at the High Court. That is just a court of first instance. High Court. The husband's brothers can still appeal to the Court of Appeal, and after judgment there, they can still take it further to the Supreme Court. So just one court of instance took 10 years. they can stay the execution, inform the court that we want to challenge this judgment, and those properties cannot be touched because the case still wants to be challenged. So they will stay execution and take the matter to the next court. This is a woman that wedded statutorily. She has sons for this man. Yes, brothers are still fighting. Talk less of you that did traditional wedding alone and your husband now passed without will. To wrap up this video, let us discuss briefly what the position is in the north, the Muslim practicing northerners. Oh, which dance will I dance now? Oh, my Muslim and Hausa brothers and sisters, people should not vex for me. Oh, I don't know any of your music. Rankadede, pardon me. Let me know in the comment section which of your music is on YouTube so I can learn and know how to dance it. The system in the north is pretty uniform and organized because it is in accordance to the Sharia law. The Sharia law system, the dictates of the Quran, is what guides distribution of properties in the north, the Muslim practicing northerners. And it says, according to Islamic law as practiced in Nigeria, in the north, the Muslim practicing northerners, first shares as a daughter. Where a deceased person leaves sons and daughters, each daughter gets half of the share of the son. So if the son gets 10,000 naira, the daughter will get 5,000 naira. So even in the core north, daughters inherit freely. If the deceased leaves only one daughter and no son, the daughter is entitled to half of his inheritance. In the case of two daughters but no son, the daughters will get 2/3 of the inheritance and share it amongst themselves. So there's shares of mother, there's shares for a wife, there's share for a sister. So you can see that under the Sharia law as practiced in Nigeria, a daughter, mother, wife, sister, both nuclear and extended family has a share in the late man's property. One may have even thought that it was even under this Muslim inheritance that we may not have seen female inheritance, but a lot of provisions are made for the women under the Islamic law. But I'm not going to take you through all the details. So guys, yes, these are the customary laws of the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria. As I mentioned, it will vary from place to place. So let us know in the comment section, what do you think about this? Let us know what it is like in your place. I believe now our eyes are beginning to open more and more as to these distinctions. What comes from a court marriage, what comes from a traditional marriage. They all have their consequences. It's not just about polygamy. There are consequences to the kinds of marriages you choose to contract. Do let us know all your thoughts down in the comment section. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, you are seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued because we have so much more coming your way. Don't also forget that our masterclass is up and running. So if you're a YouTuber interested in upping your YouTube game, upping your creation game, raking in those numbers that you desire, or if you're a newbie hoping to understand the basics and the rudiments of storytelling and how to apply it, if you're that one desirous of sharpening your oratory skills, do click the link down below, pinned in the comment section and in the description box, and subscribe to our storytelling masterclass. Thank you once again guys for watching. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now,